me this tweeted out, and so everybody can join in here. 1 second. do 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 do. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Make sure the stream's coming through okay here. 1 second. Good, good, good. There we go. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So, happy Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, last day of the week, last trading day of the week, and what a day today. So today we're going to finally just take a look here. We've talked about volatility last week, and it was really appropriate for the GameStop move. Today we're going to talk about what happened with GameStop today, with GME today. So good stuff. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off the market today. And then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening and what might be setting up into tomorrow. And then we'll take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, so SPX ended up pushing up today, 41 points, back over the upper Bollinger Band here on the monthly chart. So still running strong right here. And the cool part about it is that we took out the bearish engulfing week high to give us fresh all-time highs this week, invalidating that candle, and now giving us a fresh push up, right? So fresh all-time highs right here. So, I mean, anything could happen. We can still pull back. This is our wave count's been playing out pretty well. We talked about it on the Elliott Wave Show this weekend. We talk about it every day, and we track this in our group too. And really looks like that wave forward is kind of finished here off of the 50-day moving average, and you can clearly see an impulsive wave up right here. So yesterday's kind of a pause day. We'll see how this goes, right? We're at fresh all-time highs, price discovery area. We'll see what the futures are up to this evening. But keep in mind, whenever this thing starts to pull back a little bit, right, we still are expecting more. Now, it is possible. It's possible that there's always the possibility of a truncated fifth and we pull down. But if we're looking for a major impulsive wave up, right, one of the things we'll look at is wherever we end up finishing the wave one up, we would expect a 618 pullback for a wave two, right? So we still need to check that. Now, this last wave two from that last big impulsive wave up down here was only a 382, right? So it came right to the 382. So that's a possibility too if it wants to be really super duper impulsive, right? So we just want to kind of keep an eye on that and see where we go from there. But generally still bullish until proven otherwise. And as you saw what I tweeted out a little bit earlier, because of the fresh high, the old bump line, which was getting scary right here if we push down below these lows, is shifted. Now it's getting really close to the macro upper trend line. So technically it's not a bump line anymore, but it's still a good geometric line to keep an eye on. So we're going to monitor that and continue to be bullish until proven otherwise here. So let's take a look at the intraday price action here today. Again, it was basically just the lows of the day was the opening print. And they just pushed off of it right here. Once we cleared this pivot from yesterday, right, it was uphill, right? It was just a nice ride up from there, right? So we got a nice pop off of that level, and then then it kind of pulled back a little bit, retested. It's like, nope, I want to be above it, and then just kind of drifted all the way up as it got into, it's kind of choppy price action. It was very, very choppy today. It was not easy, but it did ride its way up here, and of course, they get a pop at the end of the day to tag the all-time high. I love it. I was joking about it in the group today. I was like, they do this all day. They're this close to all-time highs, and they can do it in just one candle, and then boom, they do it in just one candle. So pretty cool stuff there. Let's take a look at the S&P futures and just kind of go over what our game plan is. Now, keep in mind, guys, we put this out in the bubble report each morning. And in the Discord, we put a game plan on the S&P futures. It really helps us to stay focused on not only just trading the ES or trading SPY or the calls, or the options on the SPY. But one of the big things that we like about it is just to have a game plan in store, right? So it helps us see that, hey, if we're expecting the market to be bullish in this area, even if it's grindy up, what we're probably going to do is look for long setups, right? For the most part on major names, right? As long as the sectors are strong, like we talked about yesterday. So the game plan today was get over these levels, right? Push over the overnight highs, and if we could get and stay and consolidate above this signal zone right here, chances are we'd probably push our way up and have a very good chance if we could pierce the single prints from the 26 to get to all-time highs, and we did that here today, which is really cool. So tonight we're going to be tracking this. This could be a potential bull flag in the works right here. So let's see how that goes here this evening. If we right now they're kind of testing the prior all-time highs, so let's see how that holds right here. If it breaks down below here, we might test this zone right here and see how that holds. That's where the prior single prints were, and then we'll see what we have in store going into this evening. But if it breaks out above here, who knows? We might have a nice gap up tomorrow and just continue that impulsive wave up, that subwave 1 of 5. So good stuff there. So good. So this week we've been going through individual stock names this week, but hopefully you guys have been finding it helpful. There's always something a good takeaway, even when you're looking at one name. Next week we're probably going to go over a different technical concept. So be sure to stay tuned for next week. But today we're going to be talking about GameStop. So what happened with GameStop today? So let's take a look. So GameStop, as you guys know, anybody, unless you've been, what is it? Oh, we just got a nice push down there below the highs. Oh, a nice little drop right there on that. Anyway, so good stuff there. So everybody, unless you've been just tuned into the market here today, right? You've been familiar with GameStop, right? What an epic move, right? Last month. Here's your monthly candle on GameStop. This is what it was doing before that. Absolutely nothing. And then not too long ago, about late last year, there was a little bit of activity. Okay, so you can't really see it on this chart. There was a little bit of activity from the Cohen trade, right? Like saying that, hey, GameStop is maybe not as bad as we think it is, right? So this started to happen towards the end of last year, right? We started to see GameStop to start to get interesting, right? So out of nowhere, it was this kind of this choppy $5 name. Again, heavily shorted stock, right? I mean, and really the main reason is because GameStop reminds us a lot of a Blockbuster, right? I mean, GameStop basically sells games and used games, and everybody can download games these days and order stuff online. So it's sort of like, it's not surprising that there's a lot of short interest on it, right? Thinking this company is eventually going to go bankrupt, right? Sort of like Blockbuster, right? So, but then they're starting to get some interest in it, and things start to perk up right here. Like we always like to talk about, as my friend likes to say, elephants don't fit through doorways, right? We started to see some big volume start to come in, and once that whole interest started to come up here, right, we started to kind of look at GameStop and see where things were going. And then Reddit got involved, right, and the Wall Street bets. And their whole thing was, there's high short float on this, so let's see if we can get a squeeze on this and see if retail can start to push this thing up. And, well, they sure did, right? So it not only went from a $20 stock, but it hit all the way up here to... Where's the highs on this? I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, imagine being an executive at this company and seeing your stock up here. It's like, I quit. I retire. $483, right? So really incredible stuff, right? So this has been the subject of lots of conversations, across the world, everywhere from the kitchen table to the government tables, right? So pretty interesting stuff, and it's still, the conversation probably isn't over yet. But one of the things we just want to talk about is what happened here recently. So like we see, a lot of these kind of mania type moves tend to form A patterns, right? So if you go back through my series here, we've done the alphabet, right? The alphabet of setups, and it was very clear that this was a kind of an unrealistic move to the upside, right? So this 483 level. Again, some folks thought that this thing could go up to 1,000, and with all the big shorts covering and all that. But it's really tough to do it, even though you have short flow. It's really tough to do it when you have a company that doesn't really do anything, right? But supposedly they've posted decent profit and earnings and things like that, but still not that amazing. But anyway. So, incredible range here back on the 28th of January. The range of the whole candle was $237, right? I mean, just incredible stuff. And then we had this inside day, and then we had a red day right here to take it down. Now, this stock is almost impossible to trade, right? Because a lot of brokers have banned or restricted the buying and selling of it. One, because of the volatility. We talked about volatility last week, and two, because it puts them at risk, right? It puts the brokers at risk, right? And so the brokers have to have a certain amount of capital, and based on volatility, the increased amount of volatility, they have to increase their capital requirements. And if brokers can't meet those capital requirements, right, they're going to restrict the trading. I mean, it just is what it is. And so that's what happened with a lot of the brokers out there. So anyway, so ended up taking the big inside day down, and it had another 110 point range. Worked its way down here, and then we started to be like, okay, well, once it gets under the 80 MA, right, things are going to get, could potentially be bearish. It's a huge line in the sand right here. So we gapped down below there, and then yesterday we had kind of a narrow range, 28 points for GameStop. It used to be like its whole yearly range in one day, inside day, and today we took the inside day down, right? So that's really this kind of pattern right here, where you see where you're below the 80 MA and you have an inside day, and then you break down below those levels, right? That's bearish, and now we've pushed down here to the 50-day moving average. So pretty wild stuff on that. So let's take a look here. and see what happened today. So it was actually a good short setup on this today, if you were able to trade it, right? So basically, it started pretty bearish right off the open. We had a red candle right here. Now notice how we're below the ADMA just going into the open, right? So that is just a beautiful line in the sand. That's why we like to use it so much. And then you had a double inside 15, and here's the key breakdown right here. Boom, we lost the 15 orb. We lost it. This is the opening range bar, right? Your 15 orb, your 15-minute candle. And then we broke down below that with increasing volume for a nice break. And then it gave you an inside 15 with an upper shadow. And then hello, a short off of that, 74 all the way down to 61 for a 14-point move, right? And then a lower volume retrace, right? Upper shadow here to the ADMA, and then continue to work its way down. And then has already tagged $49 after hours. So that's what happened with GameStop today, guys. Now where it's going, who knows? The odds of them being able to squeeze it up again, very, very difficult, especially with a company, like GameStop. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it, see if the volatility calms down eventually, and see if it's tradable again. There might be a few little spikes here and there, but for the most part, it's kind of reminding us of all the mania names that we've seen in the past, right? So Tilray, right? So if you go back now, Tilray's gotten kind of crazy here recently on some potential news, but right. So Tilray, right? Remember this thing went to 300, right, and then worked its way back down, and this is kind of blah, right? So occasionally you can get little spikes here and there. So maybe this is the future of GameStop, right? Another one, Beyond, right? Another mania name too, right? So look at that, huge right there. Another an A formation right here, and then boom, all the way to the downside. Now, Beyond is actually a company that has been doing things and been posting some reasonable growth, right? And they're working with other big companies like Pepsi and things like that. So Beyond looking pretty interesting here right now. But anyway, a little bit of a different story behind Beyond. So, and even Tilray right now with some of the legislation that's going through, or being worked on. So anyway, so good stuff. So that's what happened with GameStop today. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff there. So Shirley sent a few in here via email. So Shirley, I hope you're doing great out there. Let's take a look at Piton. So Piton had earnings after hours. It was looking, strong right here. We had a good push, nice inside day up today. We pointed this out on our live streams today with relative strength at the open, and it really held its ADMA up for the majority of the day. And then we entered into a binary event, which is earnings, right? So as strong as that candle looked, I mean, not only this would have been tough to take long anyway, even without earnings, right? With this geometric line right here, of course, earnings can gap above it and get it going again. But even on a beat on earnings, not only did they had a beat on earnings, I think they had a beat on revenue, they had good guidance, they had increased subscribers, and it's still flushed out anyway. So sell the news on that one. So beyond Piton can be interesting. We'll definitely be looking for it in the future for some dip buy potential. We're back down to 144, so basically just below these lows right here. If it did push down below the 138 level, we would look for a gap and go to the downside. But in the meantime, we're just going to keep an eye on this geometric level and see how it holds there for Piton going forward. So good stuff there. Let's take a look at Penn. So Penn's been a wild one. Wow, Penn, $118. James, you're out there. What's going? I mean, this was just like $20 not too long ago. I mean, it's just like that. Anyway, so good push today. A good push today. I mean, not as good earnings as expected, but still a great candle here. Broke above the megaphone high. So see if we can continue to push above those levels. Let's take a look at DE. Let's take a look at John Deere. If this thing will pull up here for us. Okay, there it is. John Deere, what's this thing been doing? Oh my goodness, it's been just kind of riding the 50-day all the way up. Look at that. Up the 50. Oh, tied the 50-day back up again. Didn't even get close to it. Pull up again. Up again. Fresh all-time highs on John Deere as this thing continues to work its way up. Pretty epic on this one. Just a good old name to have in the portfolio, right? So at least 200 points ago. So good stuff there. Workhorse. Let's take a look. So Workhorse. Woo! Big inside day up on that one today. This is another one that's been pretty wild recently. Got really, really tight here. Got an inside day at the 80, man. Then boom, a big push to the upside on that. And then QCOM. Let's take a look. So QCOM down a little bit here after earnings today. I believe we did get a dip buy on it eventually. Yeah, so we gap below the 50-day moving average. I mean, it basically gapped down to a lot of prior support areas, right? And so you can see intraday, they did try to buy the dip a little bit to get back to the 15 orb high. So let's see how it goes. See if we can try to climb its way up. So good stuff there. Mike, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'll say look at Tilray. Still looking good. A little bit of pullback there after hours, but a decent dip buy on that one today after the gap fill. So yeah, so let's see if we continue to push. If it gets over today's highs, maybe we can keep going. It is looking a little bit parabolic though, so we'll see how it goes into earnings. CCL. How can we go without looking at CCL here today? So cruise lines had some relative strength today. A little bit of relative strength at the open, right? A nice push there. I like how it gapped up today, right? So could be a potential doji sandwich here. I like how it's above the cloud and the 50-day moving average. So see if you can get a doji sandwich up on that one. Amazon. So we talked about this a little bit the last couple days. We profiled Amazon this week in the series, and one of the things that's kind of happening here is the potential for a 1-2-1-2, right? So we got to the bottom of the triangle right here, wave 4 triangle. So we're expecting a larger wave 5 up. Right, it got us to the top of the triangle for a nice impulsive move, and then it pulled back to a 618 retrace. And then it pushed up again, and today it bounced exactly off of the 618. So, and it's kind of closing right at just above the top of the triangle right there. So, keep an eye on Amazon, see if it's ready to continue to keep going. Right, so we're definitely looking at it. I'm not sure it's a full ABC. I still could be ABC back down and then go. So we're just continuing to look for the price action on it and see where it goes from there. So hopefully tomorrow, maybe it'll give us some nice action with some cheaper premium, which would be good for Friday. Of course, guys, don't forget, if you don't like to trade on Friday, be sure to consider trading next week's options on stuff so you don't get the crazy Friday theta momentum type moves. And then Tesla! So Tesla took the inside day down, but they did buy the dip off of it. We still ended up closing below yesterday's inside day, so that's not really that great. But we did get a decent little dip by there, but just not a huge amount of volume. One push right here, and just not enough volume came in after it to keep going. So some pretty interesting stuff there. We'll see how it goes on Tesla, but it is sitting on the ADMA here on the daily, which is flat. So a little bit of caution there. So good stuff. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Bob, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing great. Let's take a look at BLNK. So BLNK, Blink Charging. Again, nice gap up this morning on these names. Generally looking pretty good right here. I mean, you have a nice 1-2, 1-2, kind of 1-2-ish type move. It held these recent lows, and it's holding the ADMA right now, so see if we can get any strength going into tomorrow on that. And let's take a look at Plug. So Plug, let's take a look here. Plug, interesting right here. We kind of did a little bit of a diamond formation on this. It tried to push out this morning, but kind of got a little bit rejected there today. It gave a nice push at the open, and then just kind of calmed down, right? So, at this point right here, we have an upper shadow off of kind of decreased volume. Just continue to look for relative strength in these names to see if they can keep going. So good stuff there. Awesome. Truth, what's going on? Ron, what's happening? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look at MU. So MU. Yep, so MU, nice candle here today. Almost an inside candle, but a little bit low volume, but it did push back over the ADMA, so see if we get some strength. We got a nice little push there at the end of the day. So see where it goes from there, see if we get some follow through to the upside on that. Workhorse, again, incredible moves on this one, right? Nice inside day up. Again, see if we continue to push over the highs and get some of that momentum. And then VLDR. Let's take a look. Yeah, VLDR, a little bit rough there, right? With that doji. Again, main thing we're tracking right now is this geometric line. I know it had some news yesterday. We got a little bit of a gap up on it and a little bit of a push off of the Apple news. But again, it's still below the geometric line, so let's wait for some volume to try to push above that and see if we can get going. So good stuff there. Siempre, what's going on, Ticha? How are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Rumesa, what's going on? Thanks for making it. Yeah, so BLNK we just looked at. So again, a little bit rough there on the pullback here today, but it is still holding the ADMA. Laser. So Laser is definitely one that we've been tracking right here. I mean, we have this beautiful triangle, right? And then it tried to break out right here. So at this point, it's still kind of holding on to the 786 level. I really want to see some volume and get above the ADMA and see if this thing's ready to go. But other than that, just continue to monitor it for some potential chop. And then Solo. What a day on Solo today. Nice, finally gave a nice little breakout there. Let's take a look. See the geometric lines here. So yeah, nice breakout on Solo. Again, a little bit of a tag of this level right here, and then a big push here today. Really, really incredible stuff on Solo. So nice stuff there. We'll see if we can continue to get some upside momentum. Good volume today. I wouldn't be surprised if it got a little more tomorrow. So good stuff there. Michael, what's going on? Let's take a look at MViz. So Microvision. So this is pretty wild stuff. This thing has really made an epic move, and I know you were talking about this for a while. I mean, just an incredible run up, right? And then just pull back right here, to the recent lows, and then just started to grind its way up, and then boom, back again into the spotlight. You gotta love it. And then iBio. Let's take a look. So iBio. Yeah, good push on there. Big upper shadow there today, but a nice gap up today, so did give an opportunity on that. Yeah, nice follow through from yesterday's big volume candle. Great job on that one. Rita, yeah, let's take a look at gold and see how gold's looking here. So gold, guys, I was actually pretty bearish on gold in the miners yesterday going into the close, and it was really amazing to see this big gap down right here. So again, guys, there's a lot in play here. Again, the same stuff with GameStop they were talking about. They're working on it with the metals right now. So again, it's a game. There's a lot of volume being played in here, right? So a lot of caution, right? So right now it's kind of holding these levels right here, but really in order for it to get bullish again, I'd like to see it break above that geometric line. So good stuff there. And James, what's going on? CWH. Let's take a look at Camping World and see how that's doing here. Yeah, big push on that one today. A pure doji reversal. Opened completely flat right where it opened, and then boom, right to the upside after it broke above the ADMA there. Wow, that was really, really nice and possible too. Not on our tradable names list, but that's one we would have looked at off of that doji. Very, very nice move. These little sneaky little kind of reversal candles here below the ADMA can be very, very powerful. So good stuff there. Sean, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look at Ford. So Ford had, I think, they had earnings after hours today. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Ford with earnings after hours today, I think they did okay, a little bit better than expected, and it's kind of blah here after hours. So, but again, partnership with Google kind of in the works, gave it a spike the other day, but it's still Ford, so we got that going on. So, Michael, yes, somebody says Philips upgrade. Yeah, nice. I love it. This Philips research, I love it. So CRSR, yeah, nice gap up there today. Good push. Look, see if we can turn it into a nice doji sandwich on that one. So, James, so Cohen joining the GME team is Buddy buying and sending the squeeze. I know, exactly. Buddy loves it. He's like, maybe Buddy had a little information on that. But anyway, good stuff there. And then CWH we already looked at, so good stuff there. Narsing, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, let's take a look at SNDL. So SNDL, look at that. Bearish engulfing candle there today, right? So a bearish engulfing candle is important, right, when the real body is engulfing the prior real body. So just be careful on that one. See if it pulls back there to the ADMA. Again, these are penny names, so you got to be really, really careful with that. But see how it holds the ADMA here. Visual, so that below the ADMA on that one's a little bit of caution there too. BTWN, I like the lower shadow off the ADMA there. See if we can push above these levels, right? So we've got this. We've got a nice geometric line right there. So see if we can get above that. And then LOTZ, let's take a look. Wow, nasty down move right there. I mean, the question is that you probably have is like, when is it okay to buy the dip? I mean, we'll see how it handles that level right there. It got really close to it. So that could be interesting too. So good stuff. So Jen, will it go back up? Yeah, I mean, it might, right? But I mean, my guess is probably not as much as it did last time, right? We'll probably see it do more kind of stuff like that, like Tilray did, after all the hype was over and all that stuff, and just kind of chop around. So again, did they ever do like when it was up in the 400s? Did they ever do an offering? They really needed to, but I don't know. I guess they didn't do it. So anyway, it is what it is. Then that's what's going on. Let's take a look at MOS and see how it's doing. So MOS, let's take a look here. Yeah, so I'm going to say hanging in there, right? Still hanging on to the ADMA, so doing okay right there. Walmart, guys, this was on our bullish radar going into today. I can't remember if I put it on the game plan last night, but it was definitely one to keep on the radar. Yeah, and it gave a nice gap up here and a decent push here off the inside day, so it ended up closing with increased volume over the ADMA, so that's a good thing. XRX, let's take a look. Xerox. I haven't looked at this name in like forever. Is this the next one? Is this the next squeeze name right here? Short float name. So yeah, it's actually been doing pretty good here recently. I like the bounce off the ADMA and the 50-day on that one. So keep an eye on that too. Apparently Kodak also had some recent news too with Microsoft. So Curiosity Stream. So nice push up right there, but still an upper shadow off the ADMA. A little bit of a spike after hours. See if we can get any follow through on that one. And Farfetch. I know Shirley was looking at this one for the past couple days. I like the inside day there off of that megaphone. So see if that can break to the upside. So that would be good too. So James got it. Yes, so how dare you bring up Penn? I know, exactly. It's awful. I can't even believe it. So Michael, what do you got there? AACG. Let's take a look. AACG. Whoa! You always find those wild ones. I love it. Look at that one. And crazy. And then apps. Let's take a look. That one had a nice gap today. We're looking for a gap and go on it. And let's see what it did here intraday. Basically give me a nice hammer off that level and give a nice push there to the upside and kind of ground up there on the ADMA for a little bit before it decided to reverse. But big candle on that one. Obviously, once it pushes above these highs, we might see a little bit of a pop off of that. So good stuff. Now saying in your paid service, do you send your recommendations in the private Twitter chat, or do you need to be in Zoom during the trading hours? Yeah, so in our group, right? Obviously, Discord is really active during the day. Like for day traders, we look at charts all day and look for intraday setups. I also have a private Twitter too. So if I take a trade, I'll post it there. And if I put overnights too, our overnights are tend to be pretty successful. We also post those at the end of the day too in the private Twitter. So good stuff there. Obviously, all educational purposes only and not investment advice. So, Dewey, what's going on IBM? Let's take a look. IBM. Yeah, nice push on IBM here today. Intel had some strength today. Cisco had some strength. So a couple of the old school names are looking good. IBM gave a little bit of a push after hours. Decent candle there of the ADMA, so let's see if we can get a move on that one. And then Michael, Dogecoin. I love it. Ethereum all-time highs. Yes, I love it. Good stuff. Nice work. And let's take a look. HPE. To the moon on Doge. To the moon, right? So HPE pushing up nicely right here over the ADMA. So looking pretty good there. And then Play. Let's take a look. Dave and Bustos. Yeah, nice book. Oh, yeah, I got over that level we were talking about yesterday. I like it. Let's see if we can continue to hold right there. I'd love to see some volume coming in on it. Some good stuff there. And then James, yeah, Facebook. Facebook with an inside day today. The inside day is continuing to chop. Maybe Facebook will give us some good moves tomorrow. I mean, the premiums just have to be crushed here after earnings. So one more day of chop, and maybe we'll take an inside day up or down tomorrow. Let's see if we can set up good inside day tactics applied. So good stuff, James. Yeah, thanks for sharing on that one on the Twitter in the morning, afternoon, live call. Oh, yeah, and especially we do it live, too. We go live. But it sounds like you're probably busy during the day and just need, like, something. So definitely something to check out is our overnights. We pretty successful with those. So to do it, yeah, CVX, let's take a look. So CVX, hanging in there. So a little bit of an kind of a hanging man there off the 50-day moving average. I'd like to see it break over today's highs with some volume, see if we can get going. Is a retest expected on solo before it gaps up 10 to 12 or through those levels? We'll have to see, right? So it gave a nice move right there. It's kind of chopping a little bit after hours. Really, the key at this point is we want to see some confirmation. It is definitely a breakout candle there, so we could look for a pullback for the next couple days and then look for some strength after that and then see if it's ready to get going. So to do it, yeah, AMD. So AMD is kind of interesting. This is kind of on my bearish radar all month here. It does give some nice pops intraday. It doesn't look like it's ready to get going yet. But one thing that I like is what's going on here on the daily chart, right? So we had a lot of support right here. We kept on bouncing out of this level, right? It kept on bouncing. And then we got below it, right? We lost our bump lines here. Now we're retesting this, and we're kind of another red day after that. So we have to be careful here on AMD, as it might want to do a little bump and run to get to the macro upper trend line. So a little bit of caution off of that. And so, Michael, the manipulation of the metals is nuts. I know, and it's not like, I had at that point I was like everybody was wanting to go, retail. Reddit was wanting to squeeze out silver. I'm like, but it's a different game. GameStop's got short flow. I mean, silver's a way different game. And it's like, to try to squeeze them out is going to be way tough. Bigger market cap, no short float. So when they mentioned that, I was looking for short opportunities on silver. I was like, and it does. It keeps on giving us like some nice down moves on that. And no one asked in times. Yeah, so solo. Again, a lot of questions on solo here. So solo. But what a move today, guys, on solo. If you caught this geometric breakout right here, right? I mean, the intraday was just beautiful, right? And it took a while, right? It didn't do it till here. It started breakout here, retest the ADMA on low volume, very low, and a pure doji intraday, a pure doji intraday, and then boom, have a nice day. I mean, just incredible stuff there on solo. You gotta love it. So good stuff there. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. I hope everybody's enjoyed the series on what happened with. We'll come up with a fresh series next week. And, of course, we'll be live on Sunday with Paul with Algo 382 as we continue our series on the Elliott Wave Analysis Show, Riding the Waves with John and Paul. So if you're new here, definitely subscribe on YouTube so you can catch that and catch our future videos. And whether you're new here or not, please hit the like button. It goes a long way. I always appreciate it when we see that. So thanks so much, guys. And it's Thursday. We won't be going live tomorrow, so we'll be back on Sunday with Paul. We'll also be working on the newsletter this weekend, so if you're not in the group, definitely look at subscribing so you can get the newsletter and the bubble report. I mean, just really, really great stuff. Be sure to check the links in the description. So thanks again, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Mike, thanks to Dewey. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great night. We'll see you guys bright and early in the bubble report. And, of course, if you're in the Discord, we'll see you bright and early as well. I hope everybody has an awesome evening, and stay healthy out there. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk to you guys soon.